To begin creating the base feature for the bracket, I'll press the File New icon. This will be a part, so I'll select the default part template and click OK. Since we're going to be designing the part using metric units, I'll make sure that the units are set to the millimeter, gram, second standard by checking the status bar here. At this point, we can begin our sketch for the first feature. Now, you saw a moment ago how this first feature could begin with a wide rectangle on the top plane and be extruded up to create the thickness, or it could be created with the thin rectangle on the front plane and extruded toward the sides to give it a width. For this example, I'll be sketching a wide rectangle on the top plane and extruding it up to give it some thickness. I don't necessarily have to sketch this rectangle on the top plane, however. I could sketch it on the front, top, or right reference planes, but you have to decide if you want the final part to look like this, or like this. If we want the part to look like this, we'll begin this rectangular sketch on the top plane. To begin the sketch, I'll click on the top plane and select the sketch icon from the pop-up menu. When I do, the graphics area rotates onto a normal 2 perspective, so I'm looking directly onto the top plane, and we can begin sketching. I'll first launch the Rectangle tool from the shortcut toolbar by pressing the S key on the keyboard. For this design, I'd like the reference planes to pass directly through the center of the part, so I'll be using the Center Rectangle tool. I'll show you a little bit later how keeping the reference planes in the center of the part will help with some aspects of symmetry, and later, assembling other components once we begin talking about assemblies. When I begin the center rectangle, I'll make sure that the yellow flag appears next to my pointer, indicating that a geometric relation will be added on the origin for the center point of the rectangle. I'll click to begin. Click again to give the rectangle a size, and press Escape on my keyboard to deactivate the Rectangle tool. At this point, since the size of the rectangle is underdefined, we'll add a couple dimensions. I'll activate the Smart Dimension tool from the shortcut toolbar by again pressing the S key on the keyboard. I'll start with the length dimension by clicking on it. Click again to position the dimension in the graphics area and type in 150 millimeters. I'll click the green check, and the dimension is added. For the width dimension, I'll click on this line here. Click again to position the dimension, type in 100 millimeters, and click the green check. At this point, the status bar tells us that the sketch is fully defined and all the geometry turns black to indicate this as well. Next, I'll launch the Boss Extrude tool by switching over to the Features tab in the Command Manager and select the Extruded Boss Base tool. Here, I'll be using a blind extrude, so that the thickness of the rectangle will be going above the top plane. I'll type in 15 millimeters for the depth, and press Enter once on the keyboard to update the preview. The preview looks the way I want it to, so I'll click the green check to finish the feature.